Hey, it's Tim from Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I'm doing something different today. I'm going to go ahead and put out a video about behind the scenes. Yes, this is behind the scenes of an automotive journalist, and I'm doing it on this trip I'm with Chevy. I thought it may be interesting for you guys to, get to know more about the process and what a journalist does and what the stresses I have and what the concerns I have and, all of that stuff. So I'm going to do a kind of a start to finish. I did some filming when I first got up yesterday morning as I headed to the hotel, or I headed to the airport, and then eventually made the hotel. I had a long travel day. And then we'll kind of talk through the trip a little bit, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and start with that video I did yesterday, and then I'll go through those and get you to what I'm doing right now. All right, it's 4:15 in the morning. Woke up with a headache as per usual. This is a 6 a.m. flight. I take this flight 20 sometimes a year, maybe more. Connect to Denver, get some expensive breakfast. Today's going to be a long day. I don't get in until like 6 p.m. my time, 8:30 p.m. their time, I believe, is how that all works out by the time I get there. This is fairly typical. A lot of stress this morning. I'm pre-thinking the trip, like, how am I going to shoot the video? Who's going to be there? Like, I know TFL is going to be there. I know some of the other outlets will be there. So I'm competing against them a little bit as far as your audience or you and your viewership. Thinking about if I make money on this trip. Snow plowing is a niche inside of a niche, right? So it's not like it's everybody's going to watch this video. There's not going to be like 1 billion views on this thing. So I don't know if I'll even break even on this trip because I'm gone 4 days and what I could do at home versus being on the road. Videos I could put out at home, because I can't really put videos out that well on the road. And what I'm going to spend at the airport in food, I'll show you that as we get going, and I'll show you more. So lots of thoughts, lots of thinking. The channel didn't do so well this weekend, so I got some concerns and some stress about that. I know it's a long-term thing. I can't stress about one weekend, but it does get in your head. So I got my winter coats on. I'm going to go do this trip, hopefully stay warm. It's 25 degrees this morning. Marquette's supposed to be 30 degrees and snowing on Wednesday. I have some concerns. I'm supposed to get home on Thursday. My son's got something going on Friday I want to be there for, but it's supposed to be windy and snowy in Marquette on Thursday morning, and I'm traveling all day. If I can't get up that flight, I don't think I can make it home that night. So we'll see. But yeah, this is what glamorous looks like traveling, and I'll show you more as we go.
Never for fun. Yeah, it's never for fun.
All right, now I'm heading up to the United, what is this? Oh, the United Club, yeah, for a little breakfast before I get the next plane. And then I fly to Chicago, and then I'm gonna have lunch and probably dinner in the United Club before I get the next plane to Marquette. Yeah, I just spent $600 on this. $600 annual, every year, $600. I forgot my hat this morning too. All right, made it to the hotel. I hope you can hear me. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer. Yeah, let's do it like that. All right, made it to the hotel. Long travel day. You saw the exciting food at the United Club was hummus and pita and vegetables for lunch, which was good. Didn't even be good. I ate well. I did well. Went downstairs to catch my flight. I was gonna go ahead and get some little yogurt, kind of cap it off, and walked by the pizza place. Yeah, I regret that. It tasted good at the time. Deep dish pizza from Chicago, but boy, that was not good in the plane. So I got to my room. I'm gonna go ahead and relax. As you can tell, I'm pretty worn out from a long day of travel. And then I just had a convenient thing where I snapped a connector, my Rode mic. Snapped that right off. Not really a part you can buy. The other part is right here. And then I realized that my GoPro was on for the entire flight, and so somehow a button got pushed
and so I'll have to make sure I charge up tomorrow. It starts 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We have a breakfast. We have some heavy duty trucks without snow plows we can drive around, which I'll probably do a video on that. And then dinner starts at 6 o'clock, and then we start rolling tomorrow morning, or Wednesday morning, all day until 1 p.m., and then hopefully I fly out of here. A lot more on this trip when I get more thoughts and kind of keep things wrapped up. I just want to make a short thing that this is the exciting part, another hotel room. It sounds maybe like jaded, or maybe like I'm taken for granted, or like I'm not appreciative. I am. I enjoy it. You know, this is something the automaker put on. I appreciate the trip. You know, I do appreciate that. It's just when you do 15 or 20 of these a year, and that's low. Many of my colleagues do a lot more than that. You just have a different perspective on traveling than you used to. So it's not as glamorous as people think when they see the like a narrow focus in just one event. They see it, this narrow focus, this really cool place I want to be. There's a lot of places we go to that, well, are just okay events, or just they're good for the moment, or maybe you don't get quite what you want out of it, or maybe the lodging's just okay, you know, just stuff going on. So even though we get that one cool event, we go to Hawaii, or I'll go to Japan, or go someplace kind of cool, most of it's this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and nod off, because like I said, exhausted. Big 14-hour travel day, or I think it is, or whatever time. It's 9:38 here, and I got up at 3 o'clock on my time, which would be, I don't know, it's 3 hours difference. You do the math. But I'll have more from this behind the scenes coming soon, tomorrow. Yes, I promise. Good night. Okay, as you can see, it was a long travel day yesterday, and I was pretty damn tired last night. But this morning, got up, had breakfast with the Chevy PR team and another journalist, and just kind of, those breakfasts are just get to know you kind of breakfasts, kind of icebreakers. I know the team pretty well at this point because I've been on enough trips with them, and just kind of catching up, see what's new, you know, FaceTime. And for this trip, it's a little bit unusual. Typically, you fly in, afternoon arrival, you go to dinner, next morning you get up and you have a presentation, a drive event like I'm doing right now, and then you have the flying out. In this case, since I got here a day early because of the travel situation, because getting from western Nebraska to Marquette isn't so easy for me, they decided to, instead of me sitting around a hotel room all day till 6 o'clock dinner, to give me a truck and let me go explore. So I have a 2.5 hour drive route if I want to take the whole drive route, and I'm just kind of in a 2020 Chevy Silverado 2500. This is an LTZ package with the Duramax underneath the hood. I don't have a price sticker or a sheet in here, so I can't tell you what the price is, but it's pretty well equipped. I'd say this is easily $60,000 range would be my guess. So that's kind of going to be my day. I'm going to drive this around. I'm going to go back to the hotel room, try to put out a video. I'm going to hit the gym, because I'm always working on my fitness, even though it may not show up. I'm always trying to lose some weight and get fit, because there's a couple things going on in my head, and I guess I'll get to these before I ramble too much longer. From a fitness standpoint, I have to have the energy to go all day. I have to, I'm just driving around, but I'm driving around, I'm thinking of a lot of different stories. It's really kind of mentally taxing. And so I want to make sure my fitness gets to a higher level so I can perform and be on camera and not sound like I'm exhausted on camera, but be awake and be, coherent enough to put together a decent video. As far as from a journalist standpoint, this is a little bit tough. So as a journalist, I'm curious about Marquette. I've never been here. I'm looking around. There's pine trees. There's snow. I'm heading towards a big bay with a cool lighthouse. I'm going to take some back roads way back that have some dirt and pavement mix. So I think it's be pretty interesting to see. So as a journalist, I'm curious. As a publisher now, so now I have this role where I have my own outlet, which makes me more like a publisher, and that I have to think about stories and story ideas that you're going to watch, right? So like this one, the behind the scenes. I think you'll watch this, but maybe you may not. This may be a complete dud. So as a journalist, I'm kind of curious what your reaction is going to be. As a publisher, I think it's enough value to put this video out, but that's kind of where that stands. But now I have this truck. So I want to do a video on this truck. Tomorrow we're doing a snowplow event. So, okay, that'll be a good video there. That's easy video. Today, driving the back roads of Marquette, I got to figure out what to do. That's the coming challenge. And the other challenge is, from a competitive standpoint, Motor Trend is here, Truck Trend is here, TFL is here. I think Alex Dyke's going to be here from Alex on Autos. So I have a lot of different YouTube channels to be here, and a lot of different outlets going to be here. So I have a niche of trucks and SUVs, but boil it down even further, and I'm doing a snowplow event with trucks. Well, how big is the viewership going to be on that? I don't think that big. And then you compound that with the number of outlets that are covering it. So the overall audience for this small snippet of truck ownership, small snippet of people are going to be interested in, is going to shrink even further with the number of outlets covering it. So lots of competition on a small niche market as far as who's going to watch this video. So I have some concerns there as well. Some concerns on our channel. The channel hasn't been performing that well over the weekend. Had kind of a dud weekend, and right now it's trending downwards in revenue. And I can show you the stats and such, but to be honest, I make about $2,000 a month right now. That's about what it turns out to be as far as YouTube revenue. I take half of that, goes to the house, and the other half goes to taxes. That's what's happening right now. And so once taxes are paid off, I'll have the chance to invest in the business. Maybe I'll buy some new equipment. Maybe I'll do some things to improve what I currently have. But I gotta have to figure out, where to spend my money, where to improve on the channel, what to do. And all my equipment's old. All my laptop is old. Everything I have, equipment-wise, is old. I really need to spend about $20,000 on new equipment all the way through. I mean, it's just a lot of money. So I'm curious to see, hopefully the channel bounces back up. Hopefully I get more subs. Hopefully I become bigger. I see this as a long-term 3 to 5 year process. I'm hoping to go full-time in 5 years. Right now I do this part-time. I own a consulting business, a contracting business for graphic design and PR work for T Creative Services. I do that for nonprofits and small businesses. So that's the bulk of my income, and then this is just a growing facet. This is where I want the future to be. So now I have the game of I'm here in Marquette for 4 days, basically. I had a travel day on Monday. I have a travel day on Thursday. I have to do a story tomorrow that everybody else is going to do as well. So what can I make from this trip that's going to be unique enough to pay for being out of the office that far? I think it's one of those things, that's where I see the criticism the most about journalists, is that, we fly somewhere and we're well taken care of and we're going to be biased because they took good care of us. And it's narrow vision because, in my standpoint, I'm here for 4 days. I hope I make enough money to make this trip worth it. I mean, yeah, the flight and the airfare and the hotels is an expense, sure. But they're flying in 30 of us. Like, it's not like it's a unique thing. And this week, there's already not just this event going on. There's 4 events going on this week. There's Land Rover's doing a drive in South Africa. There's a Mercedes-Benz AMG drive in Southwest, or Palm Springs, California. And I think there's a Audi drive in in DC. So I'm on this one, which means I can't be on the other ones. And then I'm on 2 more events just this month. So yeah, I flew into this one place, but the hotel you become numb to after a while. The airfare you become numb to after a while. I'm putting a lot of expense of my own out there to come to these events that I hope turns into a profit. And I'm really nervous about this video to me tomorrow. Like I said, because of the competition, it's going to be tough to gain that much traction on a video of this type. And so, sure, criticize me and say I'm going to say something awesome about Chevy, but because they're on this trip. But honestly, all that stuff is numb to me anymore. I've done this job for so long, but going on 8 years, that I really don't think about that stuff at all. My singular focus is how can I be a good journalist and find some unique details other people aren't finding, and be a good publisher and be able to put that into a video format and to put a good thumbnail on it, all the kind of stuff you have to do these days for YouTube to get you to watch it. So I have a lot of stress about those 2 factors of what's going on. And plus, I'm 4 days out with my family, 4 days not at home. That's a big expense of my time. So And then you saw in the video I've done, I bought the United Club. Because I figured that United Club's going to be cheaper overall than eating in the airports all the time. Every time I eat in the airport is $20. Anywhere time I go to get breakfast, lunch, whatever, airports are ridiculously expensive. So, I'm hoping to save money with that overall, because right now I spend a lot of money on food in airports. So this isn't a free trip. There's nothing free about it. I'm spending expense time of my own. I'm spending money out for food. I'm spending time away from my family. I'm doing a lot of stuff to spend and invest in this trip to hopefully makes it worthwhile. The challenges that I run into sometimes is like this morning at breakfast, my Chevy rep, who I've worked with for a while, he's leaving. He's moving on another job. I may never work with him again. So all that time I spent networking is now going to be spent on somebody else. I got to find somebody new. Those people change jobs all the time. And so now what I was doing with this guy is now different. So I got to meet the new guy, spend time with him, which means more trips, which means more stuff going on. Because I want to have those relationships, because I want to be able to do these trips and do these drive programs and do this stuff, because they may take off one of these days. It may be good for the channel. It may get tons of subs and tons of money out of it or something. So there's a lot of factors involved in what's going on, way beyond the scenes, way beyond what you're seeing in print and stuff. So I have those factors on my mind this today. So like I said, I'm going to keep driving and see if I can't figure out some sort of video idea, which you'll probably see in another video coming up. And I'm going to stop rambling, and I'll do the drive tomorrow. I'll tell you what happened then. I'll do the recap on Thursday. So hey, stay with me on this. Going to be rather long. Sorry, behind the scenes video. All right, so let's do this.
All right.
We're getting organized here. This is called Behind the Scenes of the Event Day. So I've done the flying in, I've done in the hotel room at night, late at night, when I'm tired as hell, because you know how that works. My friend Harvey Briggs, who drove up from Wisconsin, and we're up here in the UP where it's snowing, and it's about damn perfect to drive an Alaskan truck around.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. So this is so what happens is, let me break up, is we have last night we had a dinner and presentation, and they talk about the truck, and we're discussing the presentation right now because there's some things they said that wasn't, I don't know. Anyways, and then you get drive partners in the morning, and then you take a truck. Like in this case, we picked up this big red Silverado 3500 Alaskan package. So
yep. It's the big diesel on it, right?
Yeah, big diesel on it. And then you get a drive route like this, because you can't just go to the airport to the drive event. No, you go all the way around. All right, I'm being a little cynical this morning, but I mean, the idea is you get some time in the vehicle to drive it unloaded, and then we'll get some time to drive it plowing. So when we do these things, I don't know about what Harvey's found, but I find that initially you talk to your drive partner for a while in the morning, and you're just kind of breaking the ice and kind of talking about the truck, and you're kind of picking each other's brains. Like, I know more about this kind of segment. I think Harvey knows. Yeah. And so he's picking my brain.
I'm not a truck guy.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I drive trucks, but you're a truck guy.
So, I mean, kind of pick each other's brains, and what we're doing is really, as journalists, we're kind of developing story ideas. We're kind of reinforcing our story ideas. We're kind of talking through what we think we're going to shoot. It's kind of like, I was thinking about this morning, it's kind of like before you go hunting or go golfing or whatever, you're thinking about your game plan and making small talk before you actually do the event.
Right.
Because there was, 20 other people at breakfast this morning?
Yeah, it's a modest size event in terms of number of people and number of vehicles we've got. We've been on some of these that are huge. Right,
you have multiple waves, and so what's that mean as journalists? That means that I got 90 outlets writing the same damn story.
Right, so how am I going to be different?
Yes.
And that's really important in these events.
Right, so that's kind of what you're doing in the morning. We'll get to the event, and then, so we started at 8. We drive for an hour and a half, get there at 9:30, 10 o'clock. They do a presentation there with Boss. We'll do some hooking up and unhooking up with the snow plows. We'll do the event until like noon, right? Have lunch, and then a lot of people leave at 1 o'clock. I'm staying over because of air travel. I have to stay over. But
because you live in the middle of nowhere.
That too.
You can't get there from here.
It's basically right, yeah. And so I'm in this...
Going from the middle of nowhere to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I Podunk Airport, I call it. Yeah, it's really, so that's basically what happens. Oh yeah, it's really pretty up in here. So you see some stuff while you're driving, you look around, you don't get time to stop, you don't go see landmarks. When people email you stuff like, go see this, that doesn't happen.
No.
You know, you never see this stuff. I happen to have some free time in this trip, so I actually get to be able to see some stuff. But in Harvey's case, 1 o'clock, he's probably going to load up and head home.
Yeah, I drove in last night, got here at 4 o'clock. Had a couple hours to try to figure out what the hell was wrong with my computer.
Yeah, I had a coffee incident yesterday with the computer.
And then it's cocktails and dinner, and then get up the next morning, do this. 1 o'clock, I load up the truck, I'm driving back down to Wisconsin.
Yeah, so there's not like people always call it like a vacation or something. It's not really. It's really working the whole time. Like I get home from these and I'm exhausted.
Well, and you know, then you take all the assets and you cut the videos and you do the stuff, and you know, it's not, you know, laying roofing tile or something like that, but it's work.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, just because I think that's something my father-in-law took him a long time to realize is just because I go to the event, that's just part one of the process.
Right.
You know, and I used to do a lot of freelance, so I'd have to go home and try to sell this story. And that was a lot of part two. But now I go home, cut the video, do the assets, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then then that video gets published. So there's a lot of like time behind the scenes where, you know, and I think the other thing too is people get this, and correct me if you don't, I think you're going to see this too, is that people get tunnel vision. They see this amazing trip. Like I went to Hawaii and drove to Tacoma on the side of Maui, right?
Yeah.
They see that amazing trip.
Yeah.
But 90% of the trips are fly in, dinner, drinks, 3 hours in the morning drive, airport, fly out.
I've been on so many trips where I've spent more time in airplanes than I have in the vehicles.
Yep.
You know, just trying to get there and get back on, you know, these drive programs that they'll do in Europe. You know, yeah, I got, 16 hours of flying in and out. So, okay, and you get 8 hours with the car. But that's the way it is. And oh, boo-hoo, I had to go to Europe.
Yeah. There's always that weird thing. It's like you don't want to be smug about it. You don't want to be like you don't want to feel like you took advantage of it and how wonderful. But the reality is, it is a job too.
It's a job. It's a great job. Let's face it.
Yeah.
We could be doing a lot of other things that are harder physically, that don't get us out to interesting places. I mean, hell, even Marquette, Michigan is pretty interesting. I've never been to this part of the UP before, and it's just cool to see it.
Yep. Yeah, so I think, I think the story you'll get from this behind the scenes is that it's not quite what you think it is. It's not, I certainly didn't spend time with the VP of marketing. He's not even here. I certainly didn't spend time with the head of engineering. He's not here. There's no chief engineer here. There's a few engineers. There's a bunch of us. I feel like we had an all right dinner. It was okay.
It was a good hotel dinner.
Good hotel dinner. I had drinks. The hotel room was okay.
Yep.
It's not like somebody said once, they said all these journalists fly in and they get the VP to cater them and take care of them, and they send girls to the room and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, right. What the hell are you smoking? Like that's
what trips are you
on? Right. I want to be on those trips, but that is not. That is really not the reality, and it's like I don't just come to this trip and go up to the chief engineer and the other thing too I think is interesting is I get these comments where it's like, well, I got a 15 Chevy Silverado. Ask them what's wrong with the engine.
Right.
Well, the thing is, guys, they're working on, this is the 2020 model they're in. In mock-up, they have the 2024, and they're working on 2025.
Right.
Like, that's how far advanced they're going. The chief engineer has no idea what you're even talking about with the 15. No idea. He doesn't go back that far. That's ancient history, these guys. They are so much further advanced in what their planning is and where they're trying to be, and they're really just forecasting where the market's going to go, not looking back at where it's been.
Right. And they almost have a mentality of once it's done, it's dead. They're gone.
Yeah, they're moving on.
So, and these programs, the other criticism I hear a lot is like, well, they fly at all these cool places, they pay for everything. How can you be objective on this? And granted, there are some people on these trips that you look at, maybe not on these truck trips, but you look at some people and man, I can't tell you how many puff pieces I've seen on vehicles and stuff, that this, compact sedan is the greatest thing I've ever driven.
Yeah,
It's like, come on, people. But it happens occasionally. But there are real journalists like Tim, like me, like some other people who, they tell it like it is. And they'll tell you if there's something wrong with it. They'll tell you if, they see a weakness in the engineering or any of that stuff. And the manufacturers know this happens. And, hey, as long as you're fair, they're cool with it.
Well, in reality, I was talking to a rep about this, is that if I don't find something to criticize them on the truck about, they feel like it's a waste.
Yeah.
Because from their standpoint, they want to take stuff back to the engineering. We have 20.2.
About 19.7 right now.
Yeah, so...
This is the other thing. You can't talk and
Yeah, you can't really...
navigate.
They would do these drive routes, but they...
Tell you how many exits I've missed over and turns I've missed over the years.
They want criticism. So if I come back with a story that's full of praise, it really doesn't do them any good. And it doesn't do you any good either.
I think a real good example of that was Ford Edge ST program. I was on that, and we were driving this vehicle through the mountains in Utah, and man, the transmission was just so poorly calibrated there. Hey, here's our little
this is a
off.
driver change. We can drive if we want to. We're just going to keep going.
Hey, how are ya?
Good. Did you guys want to switch drivers or do
No,
anything?
I'm gonna stay in the.
I drove so much
driver's
yesterday,
seat.
yeah.
He drove a ton yesterday.
Rock on. All right, can I get your name?
Harvey Briggs,
Excuse me. Spell the last name.
BRIGG.
Yeah, do you have some? Yeah.
And
And your name, sir?
Estradol, EST Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
Timmy. I remember you from yesterday, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, man. Do your thing.
All right.
Then, we're all good. Be careful when you slide around. It's icy. So
yeah, of
other
course.
than that, man.
Cool.
All right.
Good one, fellas.
Thanks.
Thanks. So that's called a driver change.
And if we had wanted to do a driver change, we would have. But
Like I said, I drove so much yesterday. So that's that. There's behind the scenes. So you drive a driver change. This place, it's a closed township community club place that's got maybe a bathroom in the corner with some cigarette stains on it.
right, and typically, you'll do these, and they might have a coffee shop or something.
Yeah, make a right to get out of here. Yeah, so you go and you get a cup of coffee or you go whatever and you take a few minutes. Now, in this case, it's, 20 degrees or so? 21 degrees and snowy. Probably not going to go around and talk a whole lot. A lot of times people hang around and talk at these break stops, but...
Or they might stop and take some pictures of the vehicle. Sometimes they'll try to do these in scenic places, but that wasn't a very scenic
place. No, I think it's what they had. So we're going to go to turn right on 35 South. So that,
All right.
So there's basically the behind the scenes of the drive day. So we're going to get to the airport, and you'll see the video. I'll link to it above when I ever get it done. And you'll see the finished video when I'm there. But like I said, I'm going to get there to do some stuff. I'll do maybe a little more behind the scenes while I'm there at the airport. You can see everybody else kind of working and everybody else kind of working at once. But it's basically a big group of journalists that all of a sudden just descend like flies on this event. And we're all trying to get the same experience, the same content, and then we're all trying to find a unique angle to it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'll shoot my video, I'll shoot a bunch of photography for my story, and, I'll put that up on my website, too.
Yeah. I'll link to Harvey's Ride and Drives channel as well. He's got a YouTube channel, website. I'll put that down in the description. So, we'll just keep driving along.
Cool.
So here it is. This is how fun it is.
Yay!
All right, I'm back in my home office. I'm going to wrap up this week. So I didn't do video yesterday as far as being in the airport and stuff. I got up at 5. My transfer from the airport, from the hotel to the airport was 5:30. I didn't learn about my transfer until about 10:30 the night before when I was out drinking with the boys. So I was pretty tired yesterday and pretty much had a headache all day long to get my stuff together here. And so now I'm still a little worn out. It's a week on the road, basically Monday through Thursday plus long travel days. I landed at 4:30 last night, so with a 2-hour, that 11-hour travel day. So lots of, free trip, awesome, cool, free hotel room, awesome, cool. You do 15 to 20 of those a year, you kind of get where I'm coming from here. So it's not just a gravy train. It's definitely not a gravy train. So now the work begins. So now I have what we call assets. I have the videos, I have the audio I shot. I have an email from GM. They sent me a bunch of video and audio, video stuff I can use in my video
video stuff I can use in my video. See, this is how tired you get on the Friday. So I can insert that stuff in my video. I can put the video out. And now I really have to decompress and think about what was the story from this event. Was it just about the snowplows? Was it just about the truck snow plowing? Is it about the truck? What are you guys going to watch? What makes sense? Should I go detailed information on the snowplows? Should I tell you about what the offering? Should I go more information on the independent front suspension and what they're talking about with torque and things, with the power takeoff and the truck and how it's going to tow well? Should I talk about the benefits of having a big cabin? Because that's something they pointed out. When you're towing a lot, or when you're plowing a lot, you want to have a lot of room in the cabin. So there's lots of ways I can go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and decompress and think about how I'm going to go out with that. And I got to think of timing. So I'm flipping trucks today. I'm gone Monday through Friday next week. So how does this fit into my workflow? Should I get out right away? Should I wait? I don't think it's time sensitive, so that's not a big issue there. But I have competition, right? So TFL Off-Road was there. I think that's what Stephen Elmore was doing. And so he's going to have his video out probably today. I mean, those guys work fast. So, I'm not really competing with them. I think we do different things. But for you guys, the audience, maybe you think we're competing. So maybe if I'm behind, it looks bad. I don't know. These are things that kind of go through your head as a publisher. As a journalist, I just want to do the story and have a good time with it. As a publisher, I'm thinking about timing and when to get it out and when it happened. I mean, it's March. Snow plowing is kind of over for the year for some areas. Still going to get hit here around the spring storms, but we're kind of done with weeks of cold. I mean, that's kind of going away. It's supposed to be 56 today, for example. So those are the stuff happens. So the work begins, assets come in, you start putting stuff together. I want to talk one more time about the money. So I mentioned what I made. Well, I'm going to show you this website. I'll put it on screen. It's called socialblade.com. The reason I talk about the money is because it's kind of public knowledge. I think it's pretty accurate for most sites. It's about 75%. That if you take the number and you kind of 75%, you kind of get an idea, I think, what most people are making. And so it's pretty public knowledge. So there's no really hiding what I make because you can see it. The only thing that's going to be different are going to be if I ever do like a sponsored video, which I don't do. And if I ever do like a paid guest post on the website, which I don't really do. Or if I sell hats and shirts, I guess I don't have a shirt on, but if I sell hats and apparel, that'll go on top of that. But I don't sell that much of that. So that's kind of how that works. And then, like I said, I have to think about more stories. What happened this week? We had an F-150 hybrid go live or get spied. So maybe I need to go buy those photos and run that story. We had some recalls happen. It seems like you guys want me to do some recall stuff. So maybe I need to do some recall videos. So how does it all work out? How does it all go together? How does a publisher pick the right stories? And you're trying to figure out the stuff that I have time for, that you guys are going to watch, that are going to make a profit. Really, at this point, that's what I'm looking at. I used to be a journalist, a freelancer, just pitch ideas, didn't care if it made a profit or not. I just was selling ideas. And that was my job then. Now it's like, it's a lot different. I got to balance some family time. I have a son's birthday this weekend. Like I said, I'm on vacation next week for 5 days. And so there's a lot of factors involved in that. But so that's what, there you go. Maybe I talk too much. Maybe I talk too little. I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting to do behind the scenes for you guys to kind of get in my head and what I'm thinking. As the channel keeps growing, I'm hoping to get 50,000 subscribers, start offering memberships. And if I do, I probably will do more behind the scenes stuff for the members only and kind of get some benefits there. I think that's one of the things I can do that would make sense to offer membership for. So that's what I got for you. I don't really have any more details I can think of. No, that's kind of everything in my head. So there you go. Hopefully you subscribe. Hope you like this. Hope you like the button. Put comments below if you have questions or criticism, which I'm sure there's criticisms. I mean, it's one of those jobs that it's a cool job. Don't get me wrong, but it still is a job. It's what happens. And so plus being on my own, I'm here trying to pay the mortgage. I'm trying to make a living at this, which adds a little bit more than some of my colleagues who work for outlets who just get paid. But it's a back and forth there. We'll do more behind the scenes. That's what I'll do. So hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you find us at pickuptrucktalk.com. 3 words work again. Pickup Truck Talk. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're there. Trust me, I've done it. I'm gonna go take a break for a while and enjoy some of the warm weather and hit the golf ball around, and then I'm gonna come back and get my head focused on what I'm doing. And a lot of times I go play golf and get some really good ideas. So maybe more to come. Yes, exactly. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.